Yo, what is up guys, it's Sanjito and today I'm gonna be talking about ways to become better at comboing, PvP, just winning your fights on the Hive server Bedrock. So first off, there are a lot of aspects that can make you win a fight in PvP. And in this video, we are going to go through all of these aspects so that at the end of this video, you can go and practice and become a PvP god. Surprisingly, in Minecraft, aim is very important. And that is because in a fight, the winner is whoever hits the other player most. That is why the aim is crucial to winning the fight, because if you are aiming on the side of the player, you won't be hitting all the hits that you can hit, and he might even get more hits than you on you. Also, I recommend aiming with your arm instead of your wrist. It is a lot more precise and it will allow you to hit more hits. There are many ways that you can practice your aim. The first way, and this way applies to all the other aspects that I'm going to be bringing up in this video. So the first method is by playing the game. It is obvious that if you play the game, you will get better. Now, if you want to improve your aim with bows, I recommend loading up a creative world in a Minecraft and just taking out a bow and just shooting animals or mobs, whatever you see, and that will really make you feel the bow. But at the same time, on the Hive, I think the bow doesn't have exactly the same drop, but it still helps getting the feel. You can also do the same with zombies, because zombies have very similar models than players, so you can just practice your aim on them. Before I end this part, I just want to say that the aim is probably one of the most important things in winning in PvP, so make sure that you get better aim and that you really aim at the player when you fight. Before starting with this part, I'm going to give you an example. When you're using a bow, what is harder to shoot, a player that is running or a player that is looting? It is probably the player that is looting because he is not moving. This logic can also apply into sword combat. A player that is charging straight towards you is easier to hit than a player that is strafing around you. If you are on PC, I recommend holding down the button that makes you go forward and the side buttons at the same time so you don't lose your sprint. Because if you did not know, sprint is very important in order to get the first hit. Because if you are not sprinting, you will never get the first hit. Avoid trying to hit someone when going backwards because you are never gonna get the hits. I'll throw this into movement too, but this is more positioning. If you did not know, having the low ground, you have more range than the person that is on top, so you should always get the first hit. Good players know this very well, and they are most likely waiting to get the low ground in fights where it's just trading hits, because they know that as soon as they get the low ground, you're gonna be comboed into oblivion. Practicing movement is very simple. You just have to attempt to strafe around your enemies when you play. But before doing this, I'd recommend going into a Minecraft world or just staying in the lobby and practicing sprinting while moving side by side. Comboing is basically hitting someone until they are flying in the sky and that you are able to keep them there by still hitting them. This strategy is very beneficial to the user because the enemy cannot hit you while you are comboing them. That is because of the range of the low ground that I was talking about earlier. Comboing is also very effective in game modes like Skywars and Treasure Wars because it allows you to push the enemy player off the map. CPS is actually a very important factor in comboing. That is because in a fight, whoever has the highest CPS will be the one hitting the other player first. And hitting a player is the start of comboing because when you hit a player, they get some knockback. That knockback pushes the player into the air. With a lot of hits, they are going to be very high in the air. And once they're up there, you got them in a combo. In my opinion, the best ways to practice comboing is by playing sumo with your friends in Treasure Wars. Other ways to practice is by playing in other PvP servers where there is sumo. The only problem about practicing like this is that in some PvP servers, there are not the same settings than the Hive for PvP. You can also practice by playing. I'll give you an example. If you see a player in SG that is looting, you can take the opportunity to try to combo him. Also, a player that is jumping or that is not moving is easier to combo. So that's why it's easier to practice on players like that. I'll give you a quick example of what I mean by tricks. The most common trick I can think of is using snowballs before fighting. More precisely, right before engaging, you throw a snowball onto the other player so that you break his sprint, and thus you get the first hit. And when you do that, the snowball actually pushes the enemy in the air too, so you can combo him easy. You can also do the same thing with the bow, but it is a lot less effective because you have to charge your bow before shooting. And now I'll give you more examples. There is using knockback boomboxes, normal boomboxes. There is using a bow and then making your enemy fall into a cobweb. There is when a guy comes to cross a bridge, you place a block so you stop him from passing and he falls off. You can get really creative with tricks, and that's why I love using tricks in combat. When you open your mind to tricks, there is not only sword combat anymore. You literally have so much ways of pushing someone off in Skywars. You have so much ways of having the tiny advantage that will make you win the fight. When you start learning these tricks or getting tricked on by other players, that's when you start really learning that Minecraft PvP isn't just sword duels. I mean, a lot of it is, but there is a big portion and a big part that you can win your fights without even using a sword. The real way to learn how to trick people is by trying to do them. I'll give you a quick example. Sometimes I wake up and I tell myself, today I'm gonna be trying to snowball people before hitting them. And I try the whole day, and at the end of the day I might not be a pro at it yet, but I've already improved. It's just practice, you know, practice makes perfect. It's like e-pro clutching. You just need to practice, and at some point you really get it down and you can e-pro clutch a lot. And there you go, those are all the skills that you need in order to become a god at PvP on the Hive server. Hopefully this was helpful, hopefully you can start practicing now and become better. At least drop a like if it was. And make sure to subscribe because I do live streams with subs, and that is a great opportunity to practice your sumo or your PvP. And by the way, I just dropped a texture pack, it will be in the description if you want to download it. It's the one I've been using in this video.